Hey everyone, Brian from Bear Bull Traders here. It's Sunday, July 25th, and this week is going to wrap up the month of July. It's hard to believe we're just flying through this year here. So, interesting week last week, of course. Had the big down day on Monday, and of course the markets came roaring back to finish and closing out all-time highs on the Dow, the SPY, and the Qs. And this week's going to be pretty entertaining. We've got lots of earnings on deck coming up here, and we'll go through those in a second. But this is where we'll go through the week that was and try to look ahead and try to figure out where things are going here. So hang on, and here we go. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got coming up here. Just a quick overview. Events this week, obviously got a lot of earnings, as I mentioned already. Tesla Monday, all this AMC's aftermarket close. Of course, we've got Apple, AMD, Microsoft Tuesday, Facebook, Ford, PayPal Wednesday, Amazon Pins Thursday, and then a CAT and Exxon on Friday. So those are just a few of the many earnings that are coming up, probably some of the more notable ones. I think I missed Google in there. I believe it might be on Tuesday as well. And some of the things we're still going to be watching here, because I still think they have a pretty significant impact on the markets overall, will be the yields. Again, off the lows of the week last week, but it's still holding around that 1.3 level. And of course, any strength in the yield is going to impact the Qs. The technology sector is going to drop. Financials, which are struggling in a low rate environment, will benefit from any kind of raise in interest rates. Of course, we'll be watching the US dollar. That'll impact some of our commodity trades and emerging markets. And this was the one trade I did, probably the most notable trade last week, TQQQ. Just took that off the low on Monday, close to the low on Monday, and still holding some right through the weekend here as we head into this big earnings season. So let's take a look here at our indexes, but before we get to that, let's do a quick advertisement for my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade. If you have not checked it out yet, it's there. So that's the short commercial section. Now we'll get on to taking a look at the markets. And always like to start out with the TLT, that's 20-year Treasury bond. It's the price of the bond, so if bond prices go up, yields drop. You can see here we are still in an uptrend, albeit it seems to be getting a little bit choppy here, but we're still holding the 20 moving average, and we've gotten obviously through the 200. It's held on a pullback, and as long as the bond price or the Treasury price keeps rising, means yields will be dropping. You can see here volume is really dropping off here. So we may be getting into a consolidation phase. I think the bond market is trying to figure out which direction they want to take interest rates. You can see here we are losing some momentum on the RSI. Stochastics are also rolling over. So this could be an indication that we're actually going to maybe start to lose this 20 moving average, which I would be keeping a pretty strong watch on. And again, if we start to head lower, that means the rates will be going higher. And if we took a look at our 10-year rate here, we can see we bounced off the 50 moving average here pretty strongly. Actually, that was a pretty strong move on Friday, on the week I should say, and maybe we're just going to be heading back up here after this bit of a sell-off. RSI is starting to turn back up again. You can see stochastics, maybe fast lines crossing over the slow lines. So yeah, again, I'd be keeping a close eye on those interest rates this week, as we have been doing for some time now. Transports, mentioned this as one of the sort of canaries in the coal mine. You can see here it's really been selling off, and obviously some concern on Thursday or Friday and then Monday. Big sell-off, and then the big comeback with all the other indexes. But we're right back up at this 20 moving average. So again, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that on next week and just see if we can actually break above this 20 moving average line here. You can see here the volume was not outstanding at all. All you can say is the momentum indicators seem to be pointing upwards. So again, something to keep an eye on to see if we can break through that moving average. The transports on the weekly basis still below the 20 there. And as I said earlier, the Dow making a new high, first time closing above 35,000 there. Really nice move after this big sell-off Monday. And you can see here all the indicators seem to be pointing to higher. Although I really don't like buying breakouts under these circumstances. When you get a big breakout from a pullback like this, you've exhausted a lot of buying energy to get back up here. So buying a breakout here, you can think of sprinters already sprinted this far and now they have to sprint another 100 yards. Is a little more challenging than if the sprinter's just been like here, you have a breakout and then you have a long period of consolidation. Call this a bit of a rest for the sprinter before they go higher. That's a better quality breakout to trade versus playing a breakout here after a big pullback. Again, the Dow on a weekly, still strong, still in an uptrend, still holding this 20 moving average. Pretty good volume on the week, actually. The Qs, again, this was the one I did play on last week. I just chose, rather than pick a stock, I just chose the index because it just looked like we were going to turn and burn here after Monday's sell-off, and it was a sort of a constructive doji candle on the Qs. You can see here, well off the low of the day on Monday, and then ripped higher. And you can see here stochastics going up, MACD's crossing again, RSI's getting back into the overbought territory, but momentum continues to the upside here. And of course, we've got a lot of the technology companies reporting this week, so that'll be interesting to see if those earnings reports will be a catalyst to continue to move us higher here, or maybe as we've seen in a lot of earnings reports, good news generally gets either sold off or sort of a muted response. It's kind of like we expected that. So again, the SPY, you can see here, this was something I was watching both last week and on Wednesday. Pointed out to everybody that this was an area, this 50 moving average was an area that we held support many times before, and this is exactly what happened here, almost to the penny. We came down to that 50 moving average, and that's what made me one of the reasons I went long on Monday. And you can see here the SPY again looking really nice there on a weekly basis, breaking out again. Pretty decent volume on the week, better than the previous weeks, and yeah, all the indexes are indicators look good. This is the only, obviously the only index that's really still continuing to struggle. As I've mentioned numerous times, we are just stuck in this range here. You can see here we had a big sell-off on the Monday. We did come ripping back on the Tuesday with the other markets, but then Thursday, Friday was kind of a dud on the IWM, and probably will continue as long as the interest rates remain low and some question about the strength of the economy. And you can see here again, this is the weekly. We are just really stuck in this range, but again, keeping an eye on this 210 level. If we do lose that level, I think there's a whole lot of downside there, as I've mentioned before. The dollar, again, we're back up. We're still in an uptrend. We're still, but we seem to be chopping here. So again, really low volume on Friday, not a lot of conviction one way or another. Yeah, so just it looks like, I think the dollar's kind of stalled out here for a while. I think we're going to consolidate. And the VIX. You can see here the VIX actually was up on Friday, even though we were down a little bit on the on the index overall, but we did finish well off the low of the day here. Shouldn't say we were up, we were down, but we did finish well off the low of the day here. So trying to hold this range by the looks of it. And but again, this is an indication there's very little fear in the market right now. So let's get on to some stocks I'm continuing to watch here. I'm still watching this ABIOS. I'm looking to see whether it's going to hold this sort of level here. I still feel like with all the inside buying, there's something going on this stock that's making me interested with this, and I'm just going to see if it's going to hold that level. Gold and silver really just having trouble catching a bid here, at least gold is anyway, and this is a way to play the opposite direction. I guess if you want to take a bear stance on the gold and the gold miners, and this is dust. It looks like it's just getting ready to break out here. So I'm going to be watching to see if we get a breakout here on Monday. You can see volume started to pick up a little bit on dust, and RSI looking strong. Momentum continues to move higher here, so keeping an eye on that. FCX, this has been the copper. Copper's been actually pretty strong. We did get a nice bounce back on FCX. So just going to keep an eye on this to see if it can break through and hold this 20 moving average, which we are obviously still in a downtrend here, but maybe possibly putting in a reversal. The stochastics obviously have turned back down here and started to move up. RSI is looking strong here, so just keeping an eye on that one. Again, GDX is kind of like just looking to see if it's actually going to break down here, because you see it had a last week on the gold miners was just really just a consolidation week. There was really nothing to write home about, nothing to trade. KWeb is something that this is something I've been talking about the room, about the risk of owning these Chinese stocks. You want to throw Baba, Baidu, JD, all of those, Bilibili, all of these Chinese stocks. TAL took a massive hit on Friday when the Chinese government announced they were going to possibly make education free to everybody. Of course, TAL's an education company, and that really just knocked the wind right out of TAL. I think they lost like 50%. But all the Chinese stocks went down on this, and it just shows sort of the random, just a introduction of another regulation in China. They just seem to be going after these U.S. listed stocks, and I think there's a whole lot of risk in holding these right now. So maybe a bit late for a short on this, but we have lost the 200-day moving average on this China Internet ETF. I think it's got a lot more possible downside here if it can lose this this level, probably down into the sort of 40, sort of 49-ish level. Could lose another 10% here. I think there's another one. There was another one, news report, I think, on Tencent over the weekend. I think that was new or not, but they were going to have to do something about their royalties or something. Anyway, this is NTST. I'm just continue to watch that. Still in a firm uptrend. I think I'll probably take maybe a small position on this one. Plug Power, you can see here we're in a bit of a downtrend, but we came back up, tested this resistance line here, and I'll be keeping an eye on this to see if we can actually break through that line, and that might be an indication we're going to be heading higher. Qualcomm was actually interesting on Friday. We actually, after this big pullback on Monday, we had this nice move up, and it appears to be breaking out of here, breaking out of this range. So watch for a possible pullback, maybe 144. Might be a good place to enter. Momentum looks good on it. RSI, or the stochastics look good. MACD is turning up here. I think Qualcomm looks like it's going to head higher. SoFi, again, looks like it's still trying to hold on to this maybe 15 level, so let's keep an eye on that one for a possible double bottom. Again, the USO, the oil, came right back up after that big sell-off, and again, this 50 level is going to be resistance there for now. VAQ, not sure if this does look like it's trying to break out here. Probably put an alert in at 11 if it can close above that. Could be a good play. And Viacom does look like it's trying to put in a bottom here as well. So again, this sort of 40 level looks like support. So if it can continue to hold 40, we might start to move back up again. So that's just a few things we can continue to watch here, and let's just take a quick look at what the markets look like right now. We can see here, looks like sort of a flat open right now. There's really no movement at all to speak of. The NASDAQ looks like it's the one that's really actually making a bit of a definitive move here. The rest of the indexes, the Russell, the SPY and the Dow all look, basically flat at this point in time. Oils up the hair. Natural gas, which has been on fire, excuse the pun, is down a little bit, but it's really had a move here. Gold and silver pretty much flat. And yeah, we're dropping a little bit on the yields, just a little bit. So that's it, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. And of course, we start live on YouTube at 8 a.m. with Engineering the Markets with Jared. And then 8:30, we start looking at the pre-market, see what's in play. And of course, trading the market open at 9:30. And all on live on YouTube, of course. And just remember, when you're live on YouTube, if you're not part of our membership, if you're not in the room, the feed is a little delayed on that. So that's it, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend, and yeah, we'll hopefully see you in the morning. Bye for now.